Coming up at the Claire Trevor School of the Arts up there at UCI, there's a really nice production coming up, and it's called Our Class, and it's something that I have not heard of before, but right now we have the director Jan Page on. We also have Jennifer Holcomb, and she is the lead actress. Welcome to both of you.
We're glad to be here.
Was looking over this, which you sent out, and a little bit about the production, and reading about it, it's very dramatic. Am I right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So tell us a bit about it, and where did this play originate, and while you folks are doing it?
Great. Thank you for asking. Our Class is a play that I first saw in the world premiere in London in 2009.
Okay.
And it's a really unusual style of play because there's a lot of narrative voice as well as interaction, replaying incidents.
Mm-hmm.
It charts a story starting in 1926 and ends in the year 2001. So it's it's a huge span of history, and it takes a look at a class of students in Eastern Poland and tracks their trajectory during all of that time. Half of them are Polish Catholic and half of them are Jewish. And, and it really tracks the history of what was going on in that part of the world, but more specifically around an incident that happened in 1941 where a small town gathered their Jewish citizenry, and it was placed at the feet of the Nazis, that they put them all in a barn and burned them.
Oh, gee.
And it was not until really the year 2000 that it became clear that it was not the Nazis that did it, but it was the Polish citizens that did it to their neighbors.
Wow.
And so it was the unpacking and the truth-telling about an incident in history that I had heard about, but had always assigned blame or responsibility to the wrong group of people. That incident is the center of the play, but the play then finishes, the second half of the play is what happens to the people who were not involved in that or were involved and survived that incident, and how they navigate their lives. So it ends in a very hopeful note, but it's quite a dramatic story.
So Jennifer, tell me about your part, being the lead actress, and it sounds like it spans over years. Are you a lead in one era, or do you age throughout the production?
I do. One of the really fantastic parts about the show is it's really a pretty strong ensemble piece. So we have 10 actors in the show, and it spans each of the actors. It spans from roughly about age 5 when we begin class together, all the way to their deaths. And obviously, various deaths occur depending on their lifeline in the story, essentially, in their storyline. And so my character lives to be about, not to give away spoilers, but she lives to be about mid-60s.
Okay.
But there are characters that live to be in their 80s, and it's really interesting to chart as an actress pretty much an entire lifespan of a human being and have to portray that on stage while still utilizing this narrative voice.
Exactly.
So it's a real challenge.
So tell me about that, the narrative part of it. Is your part sort of looking back in time, or do you actually play a teenager and then a young adult and so on?
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
So we, at the very beginning, one of the first things we're doing is running on stage and reciting a very childish poem, and it's all of us yelling and screaming and very excitedly being children.
Okay.
And then not long after that, we start to step out into narrative voice and literally speak directly to the audience, looking them in the eye. And so it's a very wide mix of that. And there is more narrative voice towards the end of the show rather than at the beginning. But it's exciting because it's rare to actually, in theater, be speaking directly to an audience and using that direct address. And so it's, I think, going to be very effective for making the audience witness exactly what we were witnessing as members of this community at the time, and historically seeing a lot of the violence that occurred.
And I can see where this type of production with a narrative, and you're speaking directly to the audience, really helps tell the story, moves the story along, where people are not kind of confused, who are these characters?
Right.
Jane, obviously a very powerful production here.
Right.
But you were saying that at the end there's some uplifting moments, right?
There is, and I think one of the things that the playwright has really centered the play on, and why this event is in the middle of the play, is how do we as human beings organize our life, make meaning of our life, no matter what we've survived. And as long as there is life, there is hope. And at the end of the play, there is a sense that the people surviving did impact the planet. And yes, it's a tough ride, but I think the payoff is extraordinarily reflective for an audience, and also for all of us to think about, who we are and how we navigate our lives given our own incidents that happen.
Exactly. Was it difficult to direct, being the content of this?
It's a play that, from the time I saw it in 2009, has been on my top list of things I wanted to direct, because I think it's an important piece, and I think theatrically it's so change-making for not only the actors but for the audience. Yes, it's challenging, but I'm up for the challenge.
And Jennifer, tell me about, you are a senior there?
I'm a second-year Masters of Fine Arts
Oh,
candidate.
okay.
Yeah,
all right.
So we have an MFA in acting over there. We only take 8 every year. So I'm one of the 4 women in our second-year class.
Very nice. Now, where did you attend before UCI?
I got my BFA in musical theater at Shorter College. It's a very small school in North Georgia. And then I moved to New York and was there for a couple of years before starting school here.
So what made you come out here?
Actually, grad school. I was looking at a number of different programs in California, and I also got a job teaching over at Orange County School of the Arts. So I was there for a couple of years before I started at UCI, and I couldn't be happier being where I am. It's such a fantastic community, you know, and fantastic education, of course. So it's nice to have good supportive people to work with.
It's a great program over there,
it is,
and I hear that over and over again. So what, after this, you'll be there for the remainder of spring semester?
Yes, it's actually a 3-year program.
Oh, it is?
So yeah, so I'll be here until the end of this year and then 1 more year after that.
All right.
So we'll have our summers off to go do professional work.
Very good. And since you're living out here now, are you looking more towards film rather than stage?
You know, it's something I'm considering, but right now I'm just trying to get through these 2 years because it's such a challenge to really be in school from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day.
It is.
But I'll most likely go back to the East Coast, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows? This is what we have in the middle of November, shorts and t-shirts.
Right.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I want to tell everybody that this production is coming up December 1st to the 4th, and there are going to be 6 performances. And I'm looking, and where is it? What theater is it at there?
It's in a space called the XMPL, which is in the Contemporary Arts Center building, and it's a very unusual performance space. It's shared by everyone in the School of the Arts, and we're using some projections. And
great!
It's theater in the round, so it's a different kind of configuration. It's a very intimate space. But right across the bridge from the parking lot, so it's very easy to find. Okay,
and if you want more information, the website is arts.uci.edu. The number is 949-824-2787. And am I right, are you having a food drive during this time? Okay.
Yes, we are doing, whenever I do a show at UCI, I try and give back to the community by sponsoring some kind of benefit. And so this time we're doing a food drive for the emergency food area at UCI for students who are in need of help.
Fantastic. So you can help with that. And tickets for senior discounts are only $14 each, so they're affordable. Sounds like a very good production. I want to thank you both for coming on.
Thank you for the invitation.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Ken.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment.